Raise money somehow.
That boy can get money out of anybody. He just wailed tonight. It's not a movie. He's kidding you. No.
Bring your wallets.
That's right. Checkbooks, credit cards. Quite a few years ago, I saw a sign on a shop window that I'll never forget the sign. I think it was in St. Louis, and I was walking through this little strip center early morning, just getting some exercise, and the sign stopped, and it said this, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it said, Dr. William Jackson, veterinarian and taxidermist. And then on the small letters under it said, either way you get your pet back. That's terrible. That's terrible. But I think about it because, does it matter? You know, you take your dog to the vet, you don't want him stuffed. It really does matter. And basically, most things do matter. It's kind of like we said last night, if it doesn't matter, don't do it. You know, don't waste time on it. I used to not think that way until I turned 70. And then, since then, it's been like, hey, if it doesn't matter, don't do it. I saw a bumper sticker, this was years ago in LA. It was the first time I'd ever spoken in that part of the world. And I saw the neatest bumper stickers. Most of them I couldn't repeat. But this one was a good one. It said, roses are red, violets are blue. I'm a schizophrenic, and so am I. You ever have those up and down days? It's kind of like, today I feel really good. Well, yesterday the whole day sucked. I mean, it's like, man. And tomorrow, I don't know. We'll just wait and see. But sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So what do we do on the good days, and how do we relate to the bad days? One of my problems is I react too much instead of respond. So I'm working on reaction, quit that, and do responding. I've got some heroes. I want to talk about one of them this morning. His name is Jerry Rice. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Jerry or not, but you have. Yeah. Jerry is from a little bitty town in Mississippi. He went to a little school called Mississippi Valley State, where he made All-American. When the draft came up in 1985, Jerry was not a #1 pick, but Bill Walsh and his scouts and coaches saw such promise in Jerry Rice that they traded their #1, 2, and 3 picks for him. He was number 16. So they really thought a lot of him. Jerry was the 6th of 8 children. Another big family we're talking about. His daddy was a bricklayer, and his mother cleaned houses to help provide for the family. On the day of the draft, you know, it's interesting now, you watch the NFL draft, and these guys are dressed fit to kill, and go out and get a $40 million bonus check. And it just wasn't like that in 1985 or 1970. It was real different. Jerry's daddy was working, his mother was cleaning a house. They didn't even watch the draft. Jerry was sitting at home with his brother, and they just happened to turn on the television, and they started talking about the next pick for the San Francisco 49ers. The lady who owned the house, his mother was cleaning, said, "Come quick, Jerry's about to be drafted." So she ran in, they didn't expect it, ran in, and he was picked, like I said, number 16, but everybody was very excited, and a lot of people thought, who is this guy? That summer when he came to camp, he did a very strange thing, but it was his practice, but nobody knew it. First play from scrimmage, first day you're in shorts, wear your helmet, no contact of any kind, you catch a ball or run a ball, a linebacker, defensive, D-back, whoever will kind of pat you on the shoulder or tap your helmet and say you're down or I got you or other various things. And so he was called on a crossing route, went about 8 yards deep, perfect pass across the middle, caught it, and 2 guys just tapped him and said, "You're down, rookie." And he turned and went 75 yards for a touchdown. Nobody said a word. Call the next play. He did a post. And on the post, he was covered pretty well, but he caught the ball and went 10 more yards for a touchdown. The coaches thought he was crazy. His teammates thought he was crazy. And they started really right. But after 3 days of practice, every time somebody caught a ball or a running back ran it or there was an interception, they went all the way for a touchdown. That's leadership. For 20 years, Jerry Rice, every time he caught a ball, went for a touchdown in practice. And in games, he scored 197 touchdowns. The closest to that is Randy Moss, and he has 25% less. Nobody will ever touch Jerry Rice and his records. 38 NFL records. The day that's unheard of. And the day he broke the all-time receiving record, number 38, he went on and finished the game, of course. And you know what he did the next day after he set this record? He went back to work. He had a work ethic like nobody else in the NFL. He would go in, of course, long before everybody else. He'd get in an ice bath. He'd do whatever he needed to do. He'd watch films. He'd always be on the field 30 minutes early. Always stay 30 minutes late. But after he made that particular record, and we had to set a bunch more, he did this. He would always ask 3 questions of himself. Now this comes from his philosophy. He had a 2-point philosophy, well, more than that, but his 2 main points of philosophy were these. Number 1, he said the way you practice is the way you'll play. We know that, don't we? Yeah. And it may sound funny. That's great for a 23-year-old or a 30-year-old. I'm having the best time with these young guys that I'm in the room with, and they snore in unison. I mean, I'm an old guy. I live alone. I have for years. And Dan snores, and Ben snores, and Brad snores, and Dave snores. I don't know what I do. I don't sleep. But I am loving these guys. I'm going to adopt them all, try to take them home, but I don't think their wives are like this anyway. They all live in Denver. I've had the best time with them. And this is great stuff for a 40-year-old. But it's also good for a 71-year-old or a 75 or anybody, because we can ask these questions. We can use this philosophy. And there again it says, I'm going to be fast. I know y'all want to get back to work. Number 1 thing, the way you practice is the way you play. The way I study is the way I speak. The way I think is the way I do. It always, what is that old thing? Sow a thought, reap a deed. Sow a deed, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. It's the way we practice is the way we play. The second part of his philosophy is this, and I love it, and he plays golf the same way, and has ever since he's been retired. He fishes, he does everything the same way, and it's this: I will do today what nobody else will. That tomorrow I can accomplish what nobody else can. Now that's not pride, and that's not arrogance. That just simply says, that makes my stubble stand up. That just simply says, I will go the extra. So here are his 3 questions, very quickly. Now here are his 3 questions. He always asks these questions. Number 1, what did I do well? And that's not arrogance. It's not being prideful. You know, this morning, Jason knows he did well playing the guitar. He knows that. He knows he can train, he can teach, he can run this camp. He knows that. But then the second question Jerry would ask is this: what needs work? What needs work? Every time after I speak, and I've done this a few times, I always say, what needs work? And I find more that needs work than I find what I did well. You heard me speak, you would agree to that. There's more that needs work. And I just, well, what did I do well? I can't find anything on this one. But what needs work? So you get a list of that. Then the third thing is, what am I willing to do differently? Whether we're, well, we're all volunteers here, but am I volunteering? You paying me? Just kidding.
We'll see.
Checks in the mail. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we'll check after the offering tonight.
I have a grandchild. No, I'm just kidding. So what do I need to do differently? Whether, like I said, we're volunteering, or it's our jobs or whatever it might be. What can we do differently? In our physical programs, our mental programs, what are we doing emotionally? All these things that we're doing. I love it when I get to speak to churches, because, you know, it's amazing how many churches, their boards make transactional decisions instead of transformational decisions. In life, we need to be making transformational decisions. We do transactions. But if it's, anyway, so you have those 3 questions. And then here are 3 other questions to go with those 3 questions, and I will be quiet. Number 1, what do you really get after? We could use such a term. What do you get after? You know, did your mama or your daddy or somebody say, get after it there, you got to get after that? Well, what do we get after? What, like we said last night, you know, what gets you from Atlanta to Phoenix in 5 seconds? You know, what punches your button? What really, jet fuel, that's right, Jim. What really gets you going? So, number 1, what do you want to get after? Number 2, what's your process? Ain't that right, boss? Well, you got to have a process. I mean, yesterday, do a roof in 3.5 minutes. I mean, that's a process there. Boy, you do the whole roof in what, less than a day? What's the process? And number 3, and this is what Jerry Rice always did, how can I optimize? How can I optimize? Most of you had coffee or tea this morning. That was hot water, really hot. But, you know, if you take water to 211 degrees, it's really hot. You better not put your finger in, you can't drink it. But you turn it up 1 degree, and it boils. It makes steam. You can run a locomotive all the way across the country on 1 degree. And it's like T.S. Eliot said, and J.R.R. Tolkien, and C.S. Lewis, and all the rest, they said there's more to you than you know. We don't know our limits till we press our limits. You know that. I was kidding. Last night I did sleep some through the snoring. Press my limits. I'm joking. Just messing with these young guys. But how do we press our limits? We don't want to ever get to the point where we say, well, at this point in my life, meaning my age, I'm just going to take it easy. We're not built to take it easy. We're built to really get it. There's a little verse I love in Ephesians 2:10, and it says, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them. And walk means to do life. It's to do life. So, what do you do well? What needs work? What am I willing to do differently? What do you get after? What really turns you on? What are we called to do? What's our calling? Number 2, what's the process for that? And number 3, how do we optimize? Turn it up 1 degree, optimize plus 1, get with the program, let's make a difference, and let's finish this thing up sliding in sideways and say, Lord, what a ride. This was fantastic. I am so honored to be with you. The more I'm around you, the more impressed I am. I really am. And y'all are a bunch of winners, what you are. You know, you're the kind of women and men that in practice catch the ball and go all the way for a touchdown. You practice the way you play. You give. You really give. Now, I kid about the money. I don't know what all is going to happen with that, but man, do you give. When Dan says we're going to be up at 6, I heard somebody say last night, hell, why are we waiting that late? I really did. I don't know who said it. Somebody did. Yeah. So, you know, it's like you give and you give and you give. You remember, no, that was with the GU group, but I said there's a difference in giving and in generosity. Everybody gives, whether they want to or not. Write that check to IRS, we got to give it to them, whether they want to or not. But not everybody's generous. Generous comes from the heart. Generous means you wake up in the morning, turn it over rocks to see what's under them, and to see what you can do for somebody else. You're really generous. You're a good example to me, and you're teaching me to not react, but to respond. I'm learning more this week than I'm teaching, I'll tell you that. So y'all are a bunch of winners, and I appreciate you. And I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful to be a part of this team for a few days, and really kind of forever. So Dan's going to come, tell us what to do, but thank you for it. Let me be with you, and I hope you have a great, great day. God bless you real big.
We're making a run into town. If anyone needs materials, tell me what you need and we'll go get it in Ensenada.
Ice cream.
How you doing?
All right.